ሄሎ እንዴት ናችሁ? ሰላም ነው። እንግዲህ ለ12ኛ ክፍል ባዮሎጂ ዩኒት 4 ኢቮሉሽን የመጀመሪያው ሌሰን ነው ይሄ። I have already taught you this is the first lesson, grade 12 biology unit 4, that is it talks about evolution. Therefore we shall go through the textbook in different lessons, lesson videos. This is the first, of course. Just before I begin the lesson, try to subscribe, like, and share my videos so that you will not miss the new videos. Let's go to the science of evolution, biology, grade 12, unit 4. It's evolution. As you can see, this man, this personality, one big brains from Europe, English or the Great Britain, Darwin. Darwin is considered as the father of this special field of biology, that is evolution. And evolution studies about change in living organisms in course of time, over a long period of time, change from simple to complex. Therefore, we call it change which involves change in genetic makeup of an organism, the whole population of organisms in a species, of course. Therefore, let's go to the introductory part, then the main part. Now, introduction. The introductory part talks about, before we talk about, every time, before we talk about the origin of, the evolution teaches the origin of life and change in course of time in living organisms. Therefore, we have to raise about the origin of life. Before we talk about the origin of life, we have to talk about briefly origin of the universe. Therefore, let us say a few words about the origin of the universe. There are two theories which explain about how this universe, our universe, came to existence. One is steady state theory, and the second is more accepted by many scientists in the Big Bang theory. And the first theory, that is steady state theory, suggested that the universe has no beginning and no ending. It has been there like this. It's eternal. Still, it just remains in a constant state of expansion while maintaining a constant average density. Simply, no need of talking about where it began, where it will end. Just it existed as it is. Of course, it is expanding. They believe that it has been expanding since its creation. Therefore, the steady state theory suggests the universe has no beginning, no ending, and remains in a constant state of expansion and while maintaining a constant average density. Of course, only a few scientists spout this one or follow this one. It's not accepted by many pioneering scientists in the field of nature. The other theory, the second theory, the Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory posits that the universe originated from a singularity or a collection of a mass of dust particles, infinitely small, dense point, characterized by extreme heat and density, which underwent a rapid explosion and expansion. As the name itself indicates, Big Bang, a very big explosion of collection of very dense cloud and dust exploded and produced the universe. This is a Big Bang theory. Then after the origin of as one tiny. Let's come to then from the universe as one tiny part of our universe. Our solar system originated about 4.5 to 5 billion years. Therefore, if you are asked what is the age of, scientifically speaking, what is the age of our planet Earth, of course, similar age to the solar system, to which our Earth begins, our solar system. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, blah blah blah. Therefore, as one tiny part of our universe, our solar system originated about 4.5 to 5 billion years ago from a gaseous cloud called solar nebula. Gaseous cloud, similar cloud, dense cloud, is a source of origin of the universe, of course. And thus, the Earth is thought to have been formed about 4.6 billion years ago. This is the age as far as science is concerned. 4.6 billion years old. When we come to the origin, this is biology, of course. Now we are coming to biology. Origin of life, ህይወት እንዴት ከየት መጣ? እኛን ጨምሮ የሰው ልጅ ጨምሮ የሚል this is the origin of life, one of the most controversial concept in biology. Theories of the origin. There are theories or hypotheses or beliefs, whatever you may give them. Of course, we generally give them we call them theories of the origin of life. Not strictly theories, of course. Some are beliefs, religious dogmas, or religious rules. Therefore, let's go. Theories of the origin of life. The origin of life means that emergence of heritable and evolvable, self-reproducing form of matter. You see, that is what we call life. The origin of life means the emergence of heritable and evolvable. It can evolve, can change in course of time. Self-reproducing, it can reproduce. These are characteristics of living organisms, or what we call life. Therefore, origin of life means nothing but the formation, the emergence or the formation of a evolving, heritable, and reproducing form of matter. Not only reproducing, not only heritable, not only evolving, but also able to use, has its own metabolic processes, of course. Therefore, all features of life. Therefore, matter, which contains all life characters, all living features. Therefore, and origin of life is a very complex, as I've tried to show you, tell you earlier. Origin of life, ህይወት እንዴት ከየት መጣ የሚለው በሳይንስም ብዙ አጨቃጫቂ ነው በሳይንቲፊክ አሬና. And the origin of life is a very complex and often controversial subject, of course, yes. And two opposing theories on the origin of life that existed too for a long time. Where, yes, እነዚህ ሁለት ቲዎሪዎች ናቸው ረጅም ጊዜ and creation ነው, as you know it, which pertains creationism. There is supernatural force that created the whole universe, whatever, like solar system, whatever, all living organisms. Creationism, the religious term, of course. Therefore, two opposing. These are the two, not the only theories, but the two old, long existing theories which I try to explain about origin of life, creationism and intelligent design. They are both the same because they pertain the origin of life to a supernatural power, some sort of supernatural power, what we call God. They are not different in this sense. And the Big Bang theory of the origin of the universe. gave new ideas about the topic of biological efficiency after scientists in physics have told us how the universe was created by raising the Big Bang theory. After the Big Bang theory has been espoused and expounded in the field of physics, it gave new ideas about the topic of biological evolution. You see, now a new idea, scientific idea, that is biological evolution, different from creationism and intelligent design. We have now biological evolution that came. Of course, creationism as well as intelligent design are pseudosciences. They are not scientific. False sciences. They are not based on evidence. They are not based on experimentation. Therefore, simple beliefs. When it comes to biological evolution, we are talking about how biologically living organisms evolved based on logic, reasoning, and based on tangible evidence. Therefore, thanks for the Big Bang theory, now we have biological evolution, how living organisms evolved in our planet, how it originated in our planet, and how it is evolving. Now, in the theory, that is the biological evolution, it has been hypothesized that complex life forms on Earth, including humans, arose over a period of time from simple bacteria like tiny cells by a process of self-organization towards more and more complex structure. You see, I will come to this uh, theory, the only scientific theory, of course, that is accepted by many scientists around the world, the organic theory of origin of life, or biochemical theory of origin of life, which proposes that the first form of life was formed in the ancient world in the ocean surface from inorganic molecules through a biochemical reaction, through chemical reactions. We shall come to that. That is the biological evolution, biological origin, or the biochemical theory of origin of life. Therefore, there are several theories about the origin of life. Now, as we know now, there are many sectors or many different types of theories or beliefs about origin of life. Let me show you some of these. The first, as we may know, with different versions, of course, is special creationism, or simply creationism, you may call it. Leftrata. There is a supernatural power, whatever name you may use to mention this supernatural power, like God or Yahweh or Jehovah, whatever. Special creationism is considered as one theory. Please, you should put the term theory in quotation in this case. It's not scientific theory, of course, it's belief. Special creationism. And under this special creationism itself, there are many sectors. Many sectors. The two major sectors are there are some which believe the earth is very young, as put by the creationist history in the Bible. That means 6 to 10,000 of years old. The young earth creationism. Still, they are creationists. The others wish to have scientific knowledge, wish to accept the fact that the earth is not only thousands of years, the earth is 4 or 5 billions of years of old, because of the fact that we don't have scientific evidence for calculating the age of the earth based on radioactive dating of rocks, so that they accept this scientific evidence, so that still there is creator or the supernatural force, but the age of the earth is not as described in Genesis 1 there. That means 6 to 10 thousands of years old now. Therefore, We divide special creationism into young Earth and creationism and old Earth creationism. Young Earth creationism still strictly follow the biblical age of the Earth, that is 6 to 10 thousands of years old. The old Earth creationism accepts the scientific age of the Earth, that is 4.5 or 6 billion years old. It's very, 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 very old. They accept that. But still, they maintain that all living organisms are created by God or their supernatural power. Now, when we go to old Earth creationism itself, old Earth, old Earth creationism itself, there are many other subdivisions. One group of old Earth creationists accept the day age creationism theory. The day age creationism theory. Day age, I will explain this. The others are still old Earth creationism, gap creationism theory. There are also other sects, progressive creationism theory followers, theist creationism, or they are also known as evolutionary creationism. By the way, theist creationism and evolutionary creationism are the same. The other name for theist creationism is evolutionary creationism. And the last here described is intelligent design. Therefore, you see, these sub-beliefs described in this under old Earth creation, they are all under old Earth creation. What makes them the same, or what makes them uh, the same, is that they all believe in that the fact that the Earth is old. The Earth is old, and they accept the scientific geological age of the Earth, that is 4.5 or 6 billions of years old. They accept. The way do they accept their explanation, based on the Bible or the religious dogmas differs, of course. I will explain that later. Now, the other, you see, the first, these are all special creationism theories. The second theory is spontaneous theory. You know, this theory. This theory has been there since the time of Aristotle. Spontaneous generation or abiogenesis. Life can arise from non-living things, was the theory put forward as one origin of as one theory to explain the origin of life. Of course, this is false, unless we are talking about the first form of cell. The first form of cell is produced from inorganic compounds. Inorganic compounds in the ancient anaerobic atmosphere came together, produced simple organic compounds. These simple organic compounds reacted with each other, polymerized, and produced larger macromolecules and polymers of life, which aggregated on the ocean surfaces and produced some sort of membrane compartment. And the first form of life is prokaryotic, heterotrophic prokaryotic cell. Of course, they tell us that if we are considering this first form of prokaryotic, heterotrophic prokaryotic cell, spontaneous generation is right. Yes, it is from non-living inorganic substances or chemicals that living cells are produced. Otherwise, it is false. The third theory is eternity of life theory. A theory that talks, this theory, eternity of life theory, goes with first theory of the formation of universe, that is steady state theory. Eternity of life theory tells us that life is eternal. No beginning, no end. It has been like this, blah, blah, blah. There we shall talk about a little. The fourth theory is cosmozoan theory, also known as panspermia theory or spore growth theory. This theory is different to all the others because it asserts that life, the first form of life, didn't start in our planet. It was brought from somewhere from some celestial bodies, from some other solar systems or other parts of the universe or other parts of the galaxy, whatever. And therefore, the first form of life originated somewhere and brought into our planet by different mechanisms, which I will also explain this one. The last and the scientific view, the last and scientific origin of life, which is supported by simulated experiment, of course, is the biochemical origin of life. Biochemical origin. As I have told you earlier, biochemical origin of life means in ancient atmosphere, in ancient planet, inorganic molecules, because of the presence of energy and suitable environmental conditions, the inorganic molecules in the ancient atmosphere reacted with each other to produce simple organic compounds like esters, alcohols, fatty acids, amino acids, and nucleotides. These polymerized and reacted and polymerized to produce larger life molecules, biomolecules like proteins, nucleic acids like RNA. On this aggregated on ocean surface, and finally started metabolism, and they produced a concentric membrane. Finally, became prokaryotic cell. This is the theory, biochemical origin, or the chemical origin. You can call it. Now, the first one, special creationism. Let's go to the special creationism theory, of course. Special creationism, or simply creationism theory, is an unscientific belief based on some religious ideologies that life is the handiwork of supernatural force or divine force, or forces, if you like. These are different versions of there are different versions of the special creation theory, special creation theory. This, as I've told you earlier, young earth and creationism and old earth creationism. The old earth creationism again subdivided into day age creationism, gap creationism, progressive creationism, taste creationism, also known as evolutionary creationism, and intelligent design theory. We shall see briefly each. Young earth creationism, as I've told you, this is strictly following the Bible. Young earth creationists believe that the earth and the life forms were created by supernatural acts of the Abrahamic God in the six 24 hours days, as stated in Genesis 1 of the Bible. Therefore, they believe, yes, the earth is very young. How old is Earth? 6 to 10 thousands of years old. What about the science? The science tells us that the Earth is 4 to 5 billion years old. This is scientific based on the study of the rocks of the Earth. We do have instruments to measure the age of rocks now. They don't accept totally. They don't accept. These are dogmatic, religious individuals who accept the 6 to 10,000 years old Earth. And thus the Earth is only a few thousand years old, that is 6 to 10,000, directly contradicting established scientific data that puts the age of Earth around 4.54. You see, again, it's totally the most old-fashioned creationist view, of course. Now, old Earth creationism. Oh, you see, of course, there are several types of creationism that are considered under old Earth, of course. Those who believe in old Earth creationism accept the evidence that Both the universe as well as the earth are very old, but still maintain that all life was created by God. You see, these individuals are religious. They do believe in the creator, but still they do have scientific knowledge so that they accept the scientific age of the earth. These several sects of this theory, they vary in different aspects of how they explain the age of the earth, while still holding to the story found in Genesis. Still, they believe God created the universe or the solar systems or living organisms, but still, the age of the earth is not 6 to 10,000 years old. The first day age, and how can they explain the age is not 6 to 10,000 years old? How can they explain the biblical fact that states God created the whole world within 6 days, each day with 24 hours period, of course? They explain just some. Their explanation varies. Yes. The first day age creationism, the second gap creationism, third progressive creationism, the others are the theist creationism or evolutionary creationism, and the last intelligent design, of course. The age creationism states that the age creationism is an interpretation of the creation accounts in Genesis, the Bible, that suggests the 6 days of creation are not literal 24-hour days, but represent much longer period, potentially millions of years. Therefore, this is their explanation, you see. The description of the Bible in Genesis, that is 6 days of creation, are not literally 24-hour days. They represent much longer period, potentially millions of years. Therefore, when God created the first day, God created this, that day is not the real, the day that the days of God are not measured by the days that humans use. Therefore, the measurement is not just exact literal 24 hours a day, but much longer period. A day may be considered there 1 million years, of course. This theory aims to reconcile the biblical creation narrative with modern scientific theories about the Earth's age and evolution. They believe that scientists can measure the age of the Earth by using radioactive measurement techniques. They know, and they know from this result of measurement of the age of the Earth, they know it is very old. Then they don't accept the 24-hour days explanation of the Bible in the creation history. They bring it, oh, please, don't look 24, 24-hour days are not literally as described days in our calendar. Just they could represent huge longer period of time, like millions of years. እንደዚህ ነው 24 ቀናቶች ባይብል ላይ የተገለጹት ቀናቶች በእግዚአብሔር መስፈሪያነት የተገለጹ ናቸው። የእግዚአብሔር መስፈሪያ ነው። የሰው ልጅ መስፈሪያ ነው። የሰው ቀናቶች አይደለም። የእግዚአብሔር ቀናት። ስለዚህ አንድ ቀን እዛ ላይ የተገለጸው በእግዚአብሔር ማለት ሚሊየንስ ኦፍ ይርስ ሊሆን ይችላል። ስለዚህ እንዳለ መቀበል ኖት ሊተራል 24 hour days day age creation። ስለዚህ day ማለት ኤጅ ነው ማለት ነው። ያ ኤጅ ስንት ነው? በሚሊዮን ዓመታት የሚቆጠር ኤጅ ነው day ያሉት። ስለዚህ yes እርስ ምን አለችም? young አይደለችም፣ old ነች። the second old age creationism gap creationism ናቸው። gap creationism is a form of creationism that posits a gap of time between two distinct። እነዚህ ደግሞ ምንድነው የሚያደርጉት? አሀ ይሄን ፈጥሮ ይሄን ሲፈጥር ጋፕ አለው፣ በመሃል ጋፕ አለው፣ ረጅም ሰፊ ጊዜ ጋፕ አለው። ለዚህ ነው ጋፕ ክሬሽኒዝም። ጋፕ ክሬሽኒዝም is a form of creationism that posits a gap of time, huge time, a gap of time between two distinct creations in the first and second verses of Genesis. You see? እግዚአብሔር መጀመሪያ ሰማይና ምድርን ፈጠረ። እሺ፣ በመሃል ጋፕ አለ። ከዋክብትን ምንም ፈጠረ ሲል በመሃል ጋፕ አለ። ስለዚህ there is a gap between one form of creation, that means creation of celestial bodies, and creation of between the sky, creation of the sky and the earth, the land, between the creation of the land and the living organisms, between the creation of the animals and the plants. Gap አለ ነው የሚሉት። ስለዚህ there is a gap between each creation story. Therefore, they accept that the age of the earth is not young, it is old as 4 to 5 billions of years. They accept the scientific proof. This theory suggests that the 6-day creation period involved 6 literal 24-hour days, but there was a gap of time between the first and second. You see, they still accept that God created the creation, the creation story of the Bible, created everything in 6 literal 24-hour days. But there is a gap. How long that gap? Millions of years. The first day, God created the sky and the earth. Then there is a very huge gap. The second day, but the day is that literal day, that is 24-hour day. You see the difference between gap creationism and the other type of old age creationism, day age creationism. You see, here day is day, the same day is day. God created in 6 literal 24-hour days, but between the creations there is huge gap of time. That's why they believe the earth is not as young as 6 to 10 thousands of years. It is as old as it is measured by geological mechanisms, of course, fossil dating. The other type of creationism is progressive creationism. Progressive creationism, God created the universe and life in a series of gradual acts over a long period, rather than in a single week as described in the Genesis. They don't accept it's not a single week. When people write the creation story, they have made a mistake. They believe God created the universe and life in a series of gradual acts over a long period of time, rather than a single week as described in the Genesis. No, it took a long period of time. Therefore, they don't accept the biblical. Still, they believe God is the creator. Progressive creationism. This belief system accepts the scientific consensus or agreement regarding the age of the earth and the universe, and incorporates aspects of evolutionary theory. You see, it also accepts evolutionary theory. It's still, this theory still accepts that the whole living organisms are created by God. Still, they also accept the scientific consensus that the age of the earth is not young, it is rather old, 4 to 5 billions of years old. Yeah, still they also embrace some theories of evolution, like they, for example, they accept microevolution. They accept microevolution, but they reject macroevolution. Do you know the difference between micro evolution and the macro evolution? When we say micro evolution, it is change within a single species. Change, evolutionary change in genetic makeup, which leads to change in phenotype, change in genetics leads to change in physical appearance of our organism. Microevolution is when we consider the change within a species in response to change in the environment to be well adapted for the change. Of course, organisms must change. Yes, it is God. They tell you that every living organism undergoes change in response to change in the environment. Otherwise, it can't survive. It's adaptation. They tell you microevolution is that change within a specific species. Whereas macroevolution is the whole living organism, the whole, how these diverse life forms originated from lost common ancestor. There is no lost common ancestor for progressive creationists. Please, don't tell us. Don't tell us humans and the other primates have lost common ancestor. They are created by God, separately created by God. But as they live in this planet, when the environment changes, they undergo change in order to be well adapted so that they accept this is known as microevolution. They accept microevolution but reject macroevolution because macroevolution is a matter of having last common ancestor. That means we are talking about the diversity of living organisms, how diverse living organisms originated. We have to talk about how primates evolved. What is the last common ancestor of primates, including humans? They don't accept. There is no last common ancestor for progressive creationists. Uh, the other is theist evolution. Theistic evolution, of course, this is formulated by the Catholic Church, clergies of the Catholic Church. First suggested by this theory was there, created by the Catholic Church scholars. Theist evolution, also called the evolutionary creationism, or it is also known as God-guided evolution. They call it multiples of names. Theist evolution, evolutionary creationism, or God-guided evolution. It is the view that God acts and creates through natural laws, with God as the primary cause. You see, God acts and creates through natural laws, with God as the primary cause, and maintains that God invented evolution and takes some form of an active part in the ongoing process of evolution. They accept this. Yes, there is evolution. Yeah. Do organisms change in course of time? Yes. And this evolution is put there as a natural law by God. Evolution is the natural law put forward by God, and God actively involves in evolution. You see, it takes some form of an active part in the ongoing process of evolution. But still, they don't accept you. Uh, the last common ancestor is also not accepted here. Promoted by the Pope of the Catholic Church, and is also espoused by most mainline Protestants, of course. It accepts the scientific consensus on the age of the Earth, yes, the universe, the Big Bang. They accept also the Big Bang and the biological evolution. You see, biological, while maintaining that God has a purposeful role in creation. You see, you have to bring God. There is Big Bang. Who caused that Big Bang? God. Who created the universe by the Big Bang? God. Who created the earth? God. Is the age of the earth young or old? Yeah, it's old. They don't accept the 6 day, literal 6 day. Age of the age of earth. We will come to the other portion of this creationism theory. Theories of origin. This is a spatial creation theories. The different types of spatial creation theories. In summary, the younger theory, and the other is old age, the old Earth theory. Old Earth theory do have many versions, like the uh, old age and gap creationism, and the others are the taste evolution and intelligent design is also there. We shall come there. One last theory from spatial creation is the intelligent design theory. We shall come to that. And for now, I'm done. And thank you very much. Please don't forget subscribing and sharing and liking my videos. Thank you very much.